Go ahead.
I was glad to hear your remarks about Krakow after the film because...
Can we move this microphone around?
I'll talk loud. I'll talk loud. I was glad after the film about your remarks about calling it a Disney World because that's what we were told on a Jewish tour of Poland that I went on. And so I was glad to hear that you agreed that it was that way, except for the festival, the Kashmir Festival of Jewish Culture, when most of the klezmorim are non-Jews playing Jewish music, and they just think of it as Polish music, and it's sort of disturbing. But also, so I found it odd then that was the featured city in the video, because that's the Disney World part. But my question to you then is not about that. My question is kind of a missing piece of information. What is the Catholic Church doing to either lessen the anti-Semitism or re-educate its citizens of all ages and generations?
The portrait to the Germans. I give you the answer.
I think that they are not doing really anything institutionally, because when the Pope John Paul II, he was viewed as a person of dialogue, and that he actually really did something big for the Jewish Christian relations. But I don't think that this message somehow faded during the stage when this Pope Benedict the German was in the office, and now there is a new one, and it looks like the main message is coming from Vatican always. So we would have to maybe wait. I don't know. But institutionally, Polish Catholic Church is very, very, very traditional. At least they don't preach anti-Jewish message. That's what I hear. But they are not actively doing anything to let's say change this attitude.
First of all, I want to identify my Polish background. My father was a survivor, and he was hidden along with his brother for 28 months on the outskirts of a town called Szyniewo, or the Szyniewo. Okay, so I visited Poland in 1975, 7-8 years after the crushing of the Prague Spring, so I knew what it is, knew what kind of an iron grip you were living under. But my question is, most of us here, you can say are baby boomers, our parents were survivors. Second, we're probably called second geners. The problem I see for you, and the question is, most of the children of these people, of the Plainview community, are imbued with a great deal of Zionism. And their question, and I know this has been a question, that I've had to deal with since this talk was being advertised, was, why are you there? And I understand the reason, but the thing is, to make your position known, to make what you're doing known, you're going to have to talk to younger people who really don't see a need for you to be there. And I wonder how you would address that so that I can be a messenger and deal with the breakfast table tomorrow morning. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and I have two questions to you. Why are you here? And why are your children here? So. No, but that's, you don't...
Having traveled, I understand Jews are where they are.
Yes.
I don't question.
But so this is the question, justified question that we can ask everybody around who don't live in Israel. Well, I made Aliyah, but I have some of my tasks to be fulfilled in Poland, and many people told me, we want you to move, but we need you there in Poland. So that's why I'm in Poland. And temporarily, of course. Hope For some people, temporary, it meant the whole life. And I don't plan to be the whole life, but I think that this is the global issue, and the reality in Israel, I probably also don't have to explain you, is that it's very tough to be there, to move there, and it takes a lot of effort and language, work, all the constraints that anybody would meet, even the Americans. You would have difficulty to move and adjust and so on. And I'm not sure if young generation first of all is interested in what we are doing in Poland, because if they were, I see here 2 or 3 representatives of young generation. I think that the time will show what will happen. Simply, I'm optimistic because I know many of my friends who wanted to live on more intensive Jewish pace. They emigrated to Israel, and then they re-emigrated from Israel to England, for example. Or they came to America to study, then stayed here with the Jewish communities, all walks of life.
So it's very easy. My question is just,
I would just like to know how you came to Judaism, if you have family history also.
Thank you, I appreciate this question, but the story is so long that you have to invite me for another session. Any other questions? Yeah?
Well, if you're a Jewish community in Poland accepted you as a Jew and you have one Jewish grandfather, do you think, now I would think that probably a lot of people out there in the Polish community, do you think that they're ever going to, there's enough interest, what you're doing to promote it and reach out to Jewish Jew? Do you think that they're going to want to do that, or is there still so much fear and so much, they're so ingrained in being Catholic that it's like, it's yes and then a lot?
I think that we could see it in the movie, that young generation is not afraid. They are not afraid, but it may be not convenient for them.
No, but
Or
how
they-
are they going to know? They're so young. There's somebody older.
Well, they have to be told by the parents, or they would go through documents at home and find it out, or I don't see any other possibilities. Or they have, for example, this cousin in United States, or mysterious cousin in Israel, or it also happens. Like, people didn't realize that the cousin in Israel is actually Jewish. Yeah.
Just to follow up, and I apologize, I guess this is more for the rabbi. How in the Orthodox community, from a halachic point of view, are you going to look at someone from Poland who emigrates here who says, I'm an Orthodox Jew because my grandfather was Jewish, which is okay in Poland, but may not meet standards here?
I will just explain one thing, that it doesn't, the status this is only relating to the membership of the community. It does not relate to the religious status in terms of Orthodox Judaism. But
I mean, Israel is dealing with the same issues now with Russian Jews. The truth is, I can give a plug for a great organization, Sohar, in Israel, that Rabbi Stav, unfortunately, he didn't make it as chief rabbi, but they have a whole system set up now where they expedite the research necessary to find out what your heritage is. And if it needs to be corrected, they expedite also the conversion issue if that needs to happen.
are pieces like this being shown on Polish TV? Short pieces like this being about what you have?
Yes, they happen to be quite. I would not say every day, but if I'm reviewing papers every day, that I can see almost every day an article touching on some Jewish history subjects, or not so much on contemporary life, but at least some historical facts and stories.
I just wanted to add one thing, because there's a question about what the Catholic Church was doing vis-a-vis reparation of relationships or anti-Semitism, and the answer Monica gave you. But you should know that there are other groups that are active in Poland. I'm not necessarily plugging for any of this, I'm just providing information because all reactions are valid. For instance, there's one group called the Forum for Dialogue, and this is a group, and some of them are quite religious Polish Catholics, and actually one guy who runs it is from Protestant origin, whose mission is to try and educate the cities and the youth of those cities where significant Jewish populations existed to the fact, to the history, to the presence, to the culture of what was that they were totally unaware of, in an attempt to try and get them to understand that there was another group of people over there to whom they no longer can relate, other than being shown this was a synagogue, this was a cemetery. By the way, these symbols on the wall are really anti-Semitic, and I've seen many of them, as Monica mentioned, go out and then just kind of paint them over. So there are groups like that which are kind of secularly based, but very much interested in trying to at least portray a more benevolent, I think, feeling of cooperation, reconciliation.
I think that we can try to wrap up, and thank you very much for coming. Everybody is welcome to come to Poland. Those who are not willing to come to Poland are welcome to send checks. It's a joke, but not so much a joke. Of course, if anyone is interested in doing some project with us, here for more information, I can give you my business card so you can be in touch and look us up in the internet and see what we are doing. And again, thank you very much for this wonderful hospitality. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, community. Thank you, Gomolin family, for hosting me and bearing with me for this few days. And thank you, the team, educational team, for setting up everything and also preparing for this event. Thank you so much.
And the team that really helped David Gross was great, helping out all the technology. It's the first time we tested the sound system. Hopefully it helped out rather than just shouting.
Yes.
And Ronnie Eisman and Joyce Conlon, thank you so much for setting up. And we have two survivors in the audience, and perhaps if they're willing to either say a word, or if you're staying around, answer any questions people have also. We're honored to have you here. And our next event, the Education Committee, Saturday night, November 9th, Gil Hoffman, who's a senior correspondent of the Jerusalem Post, will be here talking to us, I'm sure, about some topic of great importance to us of what's going on in Israel right now. Thank you so much again.